Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. I am your host with the most, Jersey Joe, and we are back for my weekly NFL picks. Now, I'm not going to lie, folks. The struggle continues. The struggle is real. I haven't had a bad start like this since the year of '08. This has taken me back to the struggle of '08. It is not fun to be around. Each week has just been a continual grind. The 4 o'clocks to the late games have just been killing me, but I've been looking at the schedule, going over it very closely this week. I think this is a very nice week to have a bounce back. There was really only 3 games that gave me a hard time with who I wanted to pick for that game, so hopefully we will get back on track finally because, to be honest, folks, it's been embarrassing the way it started out. We got to bounce back. Let's start and pick the games. The first game is tonight's Thursday night game of the Green Bay Packers at home against the Minnesota Vikings. I think this one's pretty obvious. Everybody's going to go with the Green Bay Packers here. Minnesota played very well, got a big win against Atlanta last week. Teddy Bridgewater played well. Still waiting for his status. That'll come out either today or the next couple days. Aaron Rodgers was phenomenal. Big win for the Packers on the road. They look like they're getting back in track, back on rhythm. So I like the Packers to get a win at home here on Thursday Night Football. Then you have the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Giants. Now, this is a very interesting game. The Giants have really, you take away week 1 at Detroit, which was just horrendous. They've been playing much better. Eli really has been playing well. And I like Atlanta at home, but they just have not been the same team on the road. They've got a lot of injuries on the offensive line, and that was the big problem for them last year. So if that's a problem again, they're going to be in big trouble on the road. I just haven't seen it from Atlanta. So I'm picking Big Blue to get a win for the first time this year. So we'll see what's going to happen, but I like the Giants here. Let's go on to the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. One of the most puzzling moves of the week for me. I just could not figure out for the life of me why the Bills would start Kyle Orton over E.J. Manuel. Has E.J. played his best football? No. But is he the reason that I think Buffalo's losing these games? Absolutely not. I think putting Kyle Orton in just does not make any sense to me at all. Detroit's been playing extremely well. Give Jim Caldwell a ton of credit. I believe they're one of the most they might be the least penalized defensive unit in the NFL right now, and he's just changing the culture, bringing in the discipline which they desperately need. I love Detroit, the direction they're moving in. I like Detroit getting a win at home here against Kyle Orton. Just can't figure it out. Now, this is one of the tough games. The Chicago Bears and the Carolina Panthers, both teams have been very, very hard to figure out so far. You thought the Bears were bouncing back. They got the win on Monday Night Football. They came back and beat the 49ers in Week 2. Week 1, they lose at home to Buffalo. The Bears have been very hard to figure out. Same with the Panthers. So both of these teams, it's a toss-up. I'm going to go with the Panthers here being the home team. Carolina's defense does worry me because teams are running the football effectively on them. They really are. So that's definitely something I'm going to be looking out for. But I just think at home, both these teams are about a field goal difference. You give the Panthers the edge here. Now let's go to the Cleveland Browns and the Tennessee Titans. The Browns coming off their bye week. Tennessee has been kind of not too great so far. Look, I didn't expect much out of them. They definitely haven't been as bad as I thought. But right now, I think Cleveland played very well their first couple games. They come off the bye week, cleaned some things up. I think they're going to get a win coming off their bye, even though they're on the road. Now you have the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys have gone off to a great start at 3-1. Huge win on Sunday Night Football. Really just dominated the Saints in all phases. So that's a big confidence win right there. I like Houston defensively, but they struggle moving the ball on the offensive side. I think Tony Romo is just doing too much with that offense right now. It'll be too much for Houston to handle. I like the Cowboys to get another win and go to 4-1. Now let's go to the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts. This is a pretty good game. If Andrew Luck for me has been the MVP so far. It's so early, but you just look at what this guy is doing, and the big thing I say about all the time, you look at the talent on that Colts team. You take Luck off that team, they're a 2-win team. They're probably the worst team in the NFL. You look at his offensive personnel. His best target is Reggie Wayne. And Reggie Wayne's still playing relatively well, but let's face it, I mean, he's an old man now. When your second best offensive talent is T.Y. Hilton, you haven't done a very good job of surrounding your quarterback with talent. And I'm just in awe of everything he's able to do despite the weapons he has. Defensively, they have no pass rush. They just lack playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. So to be honest, I mean, the Colts have a lot of red flags, but Andrew Luck is so good, and he makes that team just work. And I love watching him play. I'm going to go with the Colts to get a win here at home. Now you have the St. Louis Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, a pretty obvious one. Nobody's going to pick against the Eagles at home. Eagles really have a lot of work to do after that loss to San Fran on the road. I mean, scored 21 points, didn't score again in the second half, didn't get any points out of the offense. LaShawn McCoy has not been doing anything. So the Eagles have a lot of things to figure out, but I trust Chip Kelly. I think regardless, at home, this is a nice win to bounce back from that loss last week to San Fran. They will get back on track. Now let's go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay is definitely in a much better position with Mike Glennon. Lovie Smith admitted it. He should have been the starter from the beginning. That's undoubtedly true. I mean, he's clearly the better quarterback to Josh McCown. He played pretty well last year, so I think the Bucs have made the right decision there. But I am going to go with the Saints. Bad loss on Sunday Night Football last week. Saints are very tough to beat at home. I'm going to go with them here. Then you have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Pittsburgh, again, a really, really weird start to the season. They really could be, right now, they could be 3-1, but they're 2-2 right now. They blew that game against Tampa Bay. I really just don't. They're so inconsistent. I'm on the defensive side of the ball. They struggle stopping people. Offensively, they're good sometimes. Sometimes they're clunky. So they're a really hard team to figure out. And I think Blake Bortles he played well. I mean, he made some mistakes, but that's what you expect from a rookie, and they lost to San Diego last week. But I really like Jacksonville and the things I'm seeing from Blake Bortles. I think I kind of was tempted to take Jacksonville here being home. This isn't going to be a walkover for Pittsburgh. This is going to be a really tough game. I was tempted to take Jacksonville, but I still think Bortles, it's his second start. He's still got a lot to learn, so I'm going to go with Pittsburgh to win here. But like I said, I do like Jacksonville here a little bit. Then you have Arizona and Denver. This is a very good game. Denver coming off their bye week, same with Arizona, so they're both fresh. Both teams have gone off to tremendous starts to the season. Both teams, well, somebody's going to get handed their first loss of the year so far. I'm sorry, Denver's 2-1, so Arizona is now 3-0, so we'll see what's going to happen there. It should be kind of an exciting game. I'm looking forward to seeing how, because Arizona defensively is tremendous. Offensively, they do enough to move the ball. Denver, too, coming off the bye week. I will go with Denver here. They're the home team. It's not going to be an easy game. It should be fun. Both teams are very well head coached, so it should be fun, but I'm going to go with Denver here. Now let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams, I mean, Kansas City coming off the big win against New England, really dominated them. San Fran, I'm still worried about. I mean, they did get the win against the Eagles, but you still see from Colin Kaepernick. Now, here's the thing for Colin. If the running game, we saw Frank Gore finally get going, if the running game starts to pick up, it's so reminiscent of last year. I mean, the first 4 games, the running game for San Fran really got off to a rough start, and that got Colin Kaepernick off to a rough start. But then around week 4 or 5, when things started to pick up, the running game started to get going, Colin was on, and the rest of the 49ers year was just very good from there. So we'll see if that's the similar case here. I will go with San Fran here. They're the home team. I do like them to get the win. Then you have the New York Jets against my San Diego Chargers. A pretty good game here. I'm just loving what I'm seeing from the Chargers. They're so well head coached. I mean, they don't kill themselves with penalties. They look better defensively this year than they did last year so far. And the huge thing is just Phillip Rivers. I mean, Phillip Rivers, you see the old Phillip Rivers here again. I mean, you used to see him with all that confidence. He used to be such a cocky guy. And before the last couple seasons when he was having that rough patch, you didn't see that out of him anymore. You're starting to see that again, that confidence coming back. That offensive line is doing a good job of protecting him. It's really been a fun to watch as a fan, and I think the Chargers are going to keep on rolling. I mean, that Jets secondary is just the crux of that team right now, especially on the defensive side. So I think Phillip Rivers is going to have a very nice day throwing the football against the Jets. Should be another nice Chargers win, and the Chargers could move to 4-1, which would be great. Then you have the Cincinnati Bengals and New England Patriots. Now, I think a lot of people are probably overreacting from the Monday night game last week. I mean, you saw New England really get it handed to them by Kansas City. So I think everybody's going to just automatically jump to Cincinnati. I'm going to go with Cincinnati here too because I haven't seen a dominant, convincing performance from New England so far. But you know what? I think at the end of the day, you got to go with Cincinnati still being the better team. But I think New England will show a little bit more spark than they did, but I'm still going with Cincinnati. Plus, Cincinnati's coming off their bye week, which helps. Then you have the final game on the slate, the Monday night game, the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Redskins. The Redskins last week on Thursday Night Football, it was just horrendous. I mean, I really just for watching Kirk Cousins in that game was just miserable. I mean, he was just looked lost. Seattle coming off the bye week. This is a tough road game, but they're coming off their bye. I think Seattle will get a pretty easy win on the road. That is going to do it, though, for the NFL picks. And before I sign off, I mean, man, we are in store for a phenomenal sports weekend. We've got MLB playoff games, college football games. So this is probably the best weekend of college football. You start off tonight, you've got Oregon and Arizona. Great game. Whenever you get to watch Oregon, lock in. You've got Ohio State, Maryland. That's a good one. Oklahoma at TCU. Alabama and Ole Miss is a huge SEC matchup. LSU and Auburn at 7 o'clock, another one. Just going to be a great game. Texas A&M and Mississippi State has a potential to be incredible. Both teams haven't lost. Mississippi State 4-0. They handed LSU a loss. Texas A&M coming off the big win against Arkansas. They're 5-0. Another 12 o'clock. This is a 12 o'clock game, which is the 12 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night. All the games are just going to be so good. Then you have Utah and UCLA, a great game. See how UCLA bounces back, how they continue playing well. Then you have Baylor and Texas, Stanford, Notre Dame, Nebraska and Michigan State, Arizona State, USC. I mean, I'm just getting excited saying all these games. This is by far the best weekend we've had for college football so far. Literally, I mean, from 12 o'clock on, you are just going to have just entertainment all day. The SEC is bringing a lot of heat. I mean, they've got some huge matchups that are really going to determine the season later on. So this is just going to be an important weekend for college football. Make sure you're watching. And if you're watching on the live stream, you can see I am wearing my San Francisco Giants jersey. A big win last night. I mean, man, Madison Bumgarner was unbelievable last night. He just couldn't get touched by the Pirates. And we're in store for a great series. Washington, San Fran. You've got great arms across both sides. I like the Nationals. I actually picked the Nationals to win it all. Look, at the end of the day, folks, it comes down to pitching when you get to this stage. And the Nationals have a very good array of them. They have enough offense as well. But there's so much good. I mean, it's great right now because as football kind of came into the forefront, baseball kind of died down a little bit in terms of just excitement. But now with the wild card games out of the way, which are exciting in themselves, it's going to be a great postseason for baseball. I mean, it's just a great weekend for sports, but everybody, hopefully the picks will work out this week. We will bounce back. Like I said, college football, there's just too much good stuff to watch this weekend. It's going to be hard to watch it all, but we will find time. Thank you for tuning in, and everybody enjoy the games and have a great weekend.